The bandeja technique is difficult. It's even more difficult to practice this in a match because you get one ball and you want to practice it and then you don't get another shot like that for another 3 or 4 points, or it comes to one side or the other side and you don't get to practice the shot that you're looking for. So now I'm going to show you how you can practice on your own, and it doesn't necessarily need to be on a court to begin with, that you can actually work on this shot to then implement it properly in your matches. The best way to work on technique is in isolation. So you're just focusing on the bandeja and probably just a part of this technique that you need to improve. It's very difficult to train a technique during a match, particularly a match that is important to you and you want to win. Those matches you should just purely be focusing on tactics. Try not to think technically at all during those, but it does mean you need to do the technical focus out of that match. So many of the shots in paddle are around muscle memory and getting yourself doing the right movements time and time again so that when you come to the paddle court is much easier. So really this first exercise you can do without a ball, you can do it off the court, at home, with a mirror. A mirror is nice because you get to see the action you're doing. A big problem for the bandeja is that players go from a ready position and they bring the elbow down and then they go up and they don't realize that they're doing it. So you could almost have a mirror to one side and you start in your good net ready position and you can just practice going into this position. So for my ready position, up here, I'm not bringing the racket down to go up, I'm not bending with the elbow, I'm not doing a tennis style smash. I'm going from ready position straight up here, yeah? And actually, for a lot of this, you may not even need the racket. We could put the racket down, you could do this at home with your hands together, and immediately you're going into this position and moving back with your steps like that. You're not doing what we often see with the bandeja, which is these forward steps. If you do this action a lot off the court and you get used to doing that, you're going to find it so much easier on the court. So the first part of this is just muscle memory. Let's get our arms up, let's turn to the side, let's move back with our steps and get that bit right. And then we can come to the court and put it into more practice. Changing your technique can be really difficult because you want to change your bad habits into good habits to improve your game. And either you might not know what your bad habits are, or you might know what they are, but you find it difficult to implement it, or you don't know how to implement it either in training or in your matches. And that's exactly why we've set the platform up the way we have, with our courses and our roadmaps for each of the techniques. And also you've got the video feedback. So you can take a video of your bandeja, for example, send it into our group. Myself and the other coaches will give you specific tips on how to improve that shot and also how you can start training for it and implementing it in your game. So go to thepadelschool.com if you haven't already, take a free trial. You get 7 days to check it all out. And if you really want to improve your game, I recommend that is the best way to go. So the next step for us now that we've got good movement, we're now going to work on that contact to the forehead level, to the side of the body with an open racket face. And we're going to start in this take back position here with the racket up like this. And to begin with, we're just going to throw the ball for ourselves. And we just really want to practice having this arm up, opening the racket face on the contact and coming underneath that ball. We want to have a little bit of slice on that ball, and this is also a great time to practice accuracy and speed. Now, again, you do not necessarily need to do this on a paddle court. You could do this in your garden, for example, and put a little target down. The target, like it would be on a paddle court, will be roughly 8 to 10 meters away. You can put a little target down there, and even if it's just hitting a cone in your garden, you can just practice getting that movement there and the contact and the feel and the brush on that ball. Again, the more times you repeat that, the more comfortable you're going to be when you come back to a court. So the next practice now is then putting that into slightly more movement. So you will still take your ball and you're throwing it for yourself, but you're going to throw it up into the air, you're going to let it bounce, and you're going to come in behind and contact that ball. So you're throwing it up, you come behind that ball, and you're playing your bandeja from this height, brushing underneath that ball. And what that does is just makes you adjust your steps ever so slightly. Again, does not need to be on a paddle court. Ideally, you want to be on a solid floor. You wouldn't be able to do this on the grass, but you throw that ball up in front of you, you come behind it with the arm up high and get that brush around the ball. Again, we're just building repetitions of contacting to the side of the body. Up till now, all of the exercises can be done off court. Now I recommend going onto court and still doing a training session on the court so we get the dimensions and confidence hitting this on a paddle court. So a great way to do this is the ball machine. The ball machine will feed the ball into the same place each time and you can practice getting under that ball. Another option is to have a friend or a coach feed that ball, just repetition of the same. Don't do it straight into a match now because you won't get the same ball. You still need that repetition, but you need to keep focusing on the movements that we've worked on contacting to the side towards forehead level and getting the technique right, as well as now with a bit of accuracy. So that will be the next step. You could theoretically do this in the garden with a ball machine and aim into a basket or towards a target, but at this stage it's probably better to step onto a court, still practicing on your own or with a partner. So the final step is now putting this into a game, and I'm hoping you've gone through these movements. If you think the first exercise was just the movement, if you did that 50 times and then the next time you threw the ball for yourself and maybe you did that another 50 and then you did 50 more where you throw the ball up and you bounce and get into position. So you've done it at least 150 times plus 50 more with a ball machine or a partner. You've done this 200 times before you step on the court again. And that will give you confidence in this shot. And now my next piece of advice is when you use this in a game, really focus on the bits you've practiced. Try not to get sucked into following the ball and winning the match. If you want to really improve your bandeja, then really focus on playing that ball. As soon as that lob's been hit, you now need to move underneath that ball. And up until this stage, it's always been under your control and it's been repetition in the same place. Now, during a point, that ball can come from any angle, any direction, and the lob can have different heights. So you need to be able to adapt. So the movement bit is really key and moving early enough. We're talking about anticipation. If you're still struggling with your bandeja, let us know down in the comments why you are making mistakes or why you find it so difficult. And if you are a member, then please send in a video and I personally will watch your technique and I will give you feedback on how you can improve that shot and suggest drills that you can do that. If you're interested in becoming a member, I'll put a link down here. This is the padelschool.com. You can sign up, get a free trial and test it out straight away yourself. And up here, I'm going to put a video of the difference between a bandeja and a vibra because they are different shots.